Thursday action in the NBA. Weird performances as always. Some injury news? Well, not as much as we would have liked. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and I ate my horse's meat straight from my horse's bones, because this dog must roam alone. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We're available on all platforms. Thumb, bang, comment, audio, video, blah, blah, blah. All right, we are here looking at the games on Thursday. There are only 4 of them on. They all finished pretty early. I'm recording this before the end of them. That's how I record these recap shows. So at the time of me doing this part here, there's just news that we haven't got. And it's pretty bloody late, to be honest. I don't know why it hasn't come through, but it hasn't. We'll get to it, and we'll talk about it in a sec. But let's just go through a bit of news, and then we'll talk about most added and drop players and waiver wire trends, and then we'll recap the 4 games across the NBA. Let's start by just getting into some of that news that I mentioned. And like I said, I'm recording this at, what's the time? 10 p.m. Eastern, I think, this part of the show. No news on Trae Young. Nothing. No news on Anthony Davis. All we know is that Trae Young is out for Friday's game, but we don't know what the injury is. I will keep checking, and so just be aware that during this show you might get updates later on in the show about when we get that, but also nothing on AD. No injury status on the Mavericks because they don't have to put that in for another day. So AD, Gafford, Lively, we don't know. I've got no idea. What we did get in LA was Luka Doncic, a little bit out of nowhere, just popping up with a bit of a questionable tag. So Luka could be back. So that little Jake LaRavia run and some Jared Vanderbilt bar stuff probably cools off. I'm not particularly worried about Austin Reeves. He will lose value, but whatever. He's still going to be very good. So don't worry too much about that. But your LaRavias and Vanderbilts, if Luka actually does play, will probably fall away. And then what we got is important as well, because in Phoenix, we got the news that Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green are out again. So, if you did spend money in a fab bid on Colin Gillespie or Royce O'Neal, W. You got some extra value going on here. I think they can maintain a little bit of value as you move forward. Anyway, it's going to be squished back. Speaking of fab, I checked some of the fab bids for Josh Minott across the Locked On Fantasy Basketball League because we run waivers twice a week, and it was today. $1,000 budget. I believe we went for $800 in some leagues. My bids were like $110, $140, things like that. He was mainly going for 300s and 400s, which is a lot, man. It is a lot. Now, you do go heavy on bids early in the season, but it's been as much as I like him, and as much as I've liked him for a long time, he was playing 3 minutes a game in Minnesota. We've had 5 iterations of this Celtics team already this season. We've had the Hugo Gonzalez moments. We've had bloody Chris Boucher in preseason. We've had Sam Hauser, and now it's Josh Minott. And I do believe in Minott. I do believe that he will start for a considerable period of time here. But there were some hard, heavy bids on Joshy. So, for you guys, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that it pans out. I hope so. I hope it does. Well, let's take a look at some waiver wire trends. Because over the last 48 hours, obviously guys have been added and dropped. And that does bring me to, should have probably just talked about it now, in terms of Joshy Minott, because on our advanced roster numbers on Basketball Monster, the big fella Minott is up to 98% now. Now, when you look on Yahoo, he's nowhere near that, which is actually a little bit embarrassing on Yahoo. He's only up to 15%. So I don't know what all the old double onyx, diamond level premium trends that you can only see if you pay for Yahoo Plus. Are they adding Josh Minott? Because 15% is like a ridiculously low number. Like, ridiculously low. I do not understand why it is that low, even though, look, this stuff might not pan out. That's very slow uptake from people. I guess some people, maybe they have weekly waivers that process. Can't be that many, though. Anyway, the next most added player, Royce O'Neal, good. Colin Gillespie, go for it. The national title, Jarvis Walker, hello. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with every one of these ads. Aaron Wiggins, we'll talk about him and the Thunder today because Chet Holmgren was out again and Wiggins started again. And that's where his value lies. That's more of a short-term thing. Walker's probably intermediate term. Gillespie and O'Neal is short with maybe some stretchy long value, and Minott hopefully is long. And that's, I think, the way that you want to look at a lot of ads. I'm going to talk about some players from today as well that are similar to that in terms of where you value their production. And it's all about trying to project what can you see, is someone going to come back and impact it? Because that determines how hard you go into it and how much, like who you want to drop to add players like that. The most dropped blokes over the last 48 hours. Number 1, Slamming Sammy Merrill. Missed a couple of games and you're dead to people, I guess. That's fine because we didn't really expect Merrill to maintain strong 12-team value. He had a really good start to the season, but long-term, I don't think that he was going to be this must-roster guy. Dylan Brooks started out way better than we thought. Missed a couple of games, dropped. Also cool. Bryce Sensabaugh started out the season great. Now he's playing 12 minutes a night. So, see you later. Obi Toppin, stress reaction in his foot. I would not be shocked if we get, they said at least a month. This, to me, feels longer. Is he back in 2026, like January? I don't know. I'm a little worried about that. And then we thought there might be an opportunity for Derek Queen, but no. DeAndre Jordan is the center the Pelicans use. Why wouldn't you after you've used that draft capital to get Derek Queen? So we'll see what's going on there. So people dropped Derek Queen, which of course makes quite a bit of sense. So let's start talking about the games from Thursday. Now, we'll talk about the games. And I know that in a couple of shows, there's been this weird crackling sound. It's not the microphone issue, because it only happens when I'm on the box score screen. And I can't, there's some sort of software thing, and I don't fully know what it is. I think I've got it. I think. If anyone is an expert at using OBS, please, can you email me so we can have a chat about this? Because this is doing my head in. Because it is one particular scene with some particular files, and I think I've isolated it, and I think we're good. Fingers absolutely crossed, because it's the first game, and I'm about to sing, because it is your Orlando Magic, and the Charlotte Hornets. And I get to do it again. I get to do voices, because Jalen Suggs wasn't playing. So that meant the first start of the season for Mr. Black. Anthony Black has been really good. 31 minutes in the first start, 20 points, 62% shooting, 2 steals, 2 blocks. No Suggs is a huge thing, clearly. But that's 3 good games in a row. Now, the last one for Black was good as well. He's very clearly ahead of Tyus Jones in the rotation. So that's already a huge W for us, right? He won't shoot this well. He only got 1 rebound and 2 assists as well, which is clearly not very good. The thing you got to concern yourself with here when looking at Anthony Black, do you think that he is good enough to be your 11th best guy as you move forward? Because over the next 7 days, Friday through to Thursday, the Magic played 2 games. So he's going to be sitting there twiddling his thumbs going, what am I doing here? Do you need me? Do you want me to go in, coach? I can't, my guy. You're not playing. So, great game. Solid game. I've added him in some Locked On Fantasy Basketball Bowls. I think maybe 1, but they're 200-player deep leagues. But when we're talking about the value here short term, is there enough to get excited about that being a thing? I'm not really sure, to be honest. We look at Paolo Banchero, who finally gave us a good field goal percentage game, and we got assists out of him as well. He ended up with 20 and 9 assists and 2 steals, but he was bad at the line. And it's just one thing or the other at the moment for Paolo, but we're getting little bits and pieces sort of come together. He's up inside the top 25 for fantasy points per game now as well. And then Wendell Carter Jr., after a bad shooting night last time out and foul trouble last time out, bad shooting the games before, 18, 8, and 3, hit 3 triples, and at the moment, he is probably a 12-team league guy, but of course, he's got the same schedule here as Anthony Black in that only 2 games the next 7 days. The role of Wendell feels more secure, so bake that in however you want. Franz Wagner had 21 and 5, nothing major there. Tyus Jones basically out of the rotation, or he will be, I think, as we move forward. And then Noah Pender was the first player off the bench. He only scored 3 points, but he played 17 minutes, so that's obviously intriguing. Tristan Da Silva, also good, 19 and 3 with 3 steals. But I guess the question you're going to want to ask is, what do you do with Desmond Bane? Because it's not good at the moment, is it? Bane is not playing well. And there's just acclimation problems, obviously, when players join new teams. I was down on Bane. I thought it was crazy that he was going as high as he was, but not like this. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, yeah, I told you, because I didn't. I didn't tell you he was this bad. So to me, this opens up a buy low. So I can be off of Bane, fading Bane, say that he's a bust, but also telling you he's a buy low, because those two things can coexist. Bane is not this bad. He will generate defensive stats. He will hit threes. He had 6 points. Sorry, no, 6? No, 9 points, no threes. He had 7 assists, and it will be better than this. When you buy low on it, though, don't expect top 30. I think top 60 is best case, honestly. But just assess whether that makes sense as some sort of a buy low for you. Well, you'll have to judge that with your opponents and your competitors and all that sort of stuff, just to see how much it makes sense and how much it's going to cost you to acquire. But it's going to be better than this. I feel confident about that. We'll come back and talk about the Hornets side of this in a sec. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by Robinhood. Your ambition just met its match. With Robinhood, you play for the win, not just on game day, but every day, locking in on every opening, beating your PR, and then beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money, trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto, all on one platform. And you can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, so expect more from your money. Get started today at robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that is robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. Today's episode is also brought to you by DoorDash. And the NBA season is here, and DoorDash is here to help you make the nights more enjoyable, help you find the perfect way to keep you in your bag all season long with DoorDash, the official on-demand delivery partner platform of the NBA. And they're celebrating with something that they call the bag drop. Every time an NBA player scores 50 points in a game, DoorDash drops 50% off your order with Dash Pass the next day, and you're automatically entered for a chance to win the ultimate fan bag. It's player-inspired drip with exclusive gear and stuff that you'd actually want. So the next time that somebody goes off for 50, use the promo code NBA50 the next day to get 50% off on DoorDash with Dash Pass. Plus, your shot at the bag drop. Dash Pass members only 50% off up to $10 the day after a 50-point game with the promo code. Terms apply. No purchase necessary. Ends on April the 13th. Open to US residents 21 or older. Visit door-inyourbag.com for full details. DoorDash, in your bag all season long. Now I'm going to put these goofy headphones on because I just want to be aware if I can hear any of this snap, crackle, and pop that goes on. I think I might have fixed it. I think so. I hope so. And if anyone is an expert using OBS broadcasting software, please let me know. Hit me up with an email. I've had to stop and recut this video a million times just to make sure that it's okay. So there might be some weird cuts in this, which normally is not what I do. So hopefully we're all good. Hornets. The big change here was Sion James moved into the starting lineup, and Colin Sexton came off the bench. James played 28 minutes. 8-4 with a steal. Didn't shoot much, but shot well, and that's basically the Sion James story. He is a deeper league option, probably need to be 200-plus players deep, but the fact that he started and Sexton came off the bench is interesting, because we saw Brandon Miller also on the bench in this game, but no sling on his shoulder, so maybe he's going to be back soon. Now, Sexton was still good, 19, 2, and 4, but it needed 71% shooting to get there and 8 free throw attempts. And if he's not going to be 30 minutes every night, it does become harder to trust. While the big Areola, Knipple, had 5 points in his 27 minutes. So he started and he played more than Sexton, but it's a pretty rough night. And we talked about Knipple saying that his value was in that high-level shooting, and when it doesn't hit, what else happens? Well, as you can see, not very good. The big story here, I guess, is the big cock, Ryan Cockbrenner. We remain on cock watch all the time. And what we wanted to see was, would the big fella take a shot that was a 3? Would he attempt a free throw? Well, we got it. We got free cock. The 1 of 1 from the line solves that one. He was also 8 of 9 from the field, and this don't miss. He just doesn't miss. The best field goal percentage guy in the NBA at the moment. But what I love the most, the 3 blocks, the 17 points, the 7 rebounds. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. But he played 32 minutes. 32 minutes. He also played a little bit alongside Moussa Diabate. So Cockbrenner at the moment is a must-roster player. And we talked at length in preseason. So I want him to start. He's the best fantasy center here by far. But do we have the trust in it? Well, we should have, because he is, and you just got to roster him. Miles Bridges, 16-5 with 4 threes, and Liam McNeely has taken over from Tijan Salan. 14 minutes for McNeely, 7 from Salan. I think, did I say that already? Again, I'm so confusing myself as to what I've said and haven't said that, you're going to get repeat stuff. Apologies. Bad day. But in good news, I do think that the crackling might have stopped. Fingers crossed. I hope so. Now we can go on to what probably is the story of the day, maybe. The Golden State Warriors losing to the Milwaukee Bucks 110-120, but it's not as simple as that because Giannis didn't play for Milwaukee. We'll talk about them in a second. We'll talk about the Warriors first. And they went in with the same starting lineup, which means Quinton Post was starting over Brandon Podziemski. So let's have a quick check on those two players first. Post played 10 minutes and was scoreless. So, you do not roster him outside of desperation streaming. He was great last game, but not good here. While Podziemski had 9-5, 3 assists and 3 steals, which again is not good enough to be a 12-team league value player. He got the steals, but there's too much inconsistency in the overall role. Kuminga was terrible last game. Great here. So we're back on track. That's great. We wanted to see that. We wanted to make sure we got it back on track. 24, 8-4 with elite field goals, elite free throws. Love it. Jim Butler, 23-11 on really high usage, but not efficient. And Steph had 27. As for Draymond, he copped a hit in the head from Steph with the ball late in the game. He did return. His numbers were not good. If you're in a points league, you don't have to consider him like a 150-player league, 12-team must. I think you probably should, but you don't have to. I still be rostering him in category leagues as well. Obviously, we're not rostering Bud Hield, and neither with Al Horford in anything that's like 200 players or shallower. And Moody fell back to 10 minutes because it's the foreseeable future. We know that Steve Kerr is going to mix and match. But I would say that most of the interesting stuff was not on the Golden State side of this. What we loved was the Bucks. Now, of course, I'm talking about Kyle Kuzma, who stepped into the starting lineup with Giannis out and had 10, 8, and 4 in 36 minutes. And if this is the best you get from Kuzma, then don't worry about it. Very obviously, you do not roster Kyle Kuzma in 12-team leagues. But what I'm actually talking about is Ryan Rollins. 36 minutes, 32, 3, and 8 with 5 threes. It's an elite performance, an absolutely elite performance. We are seeing this guy cook. Now, I made plenty of statements about Ryan Rollins off-season, pre-season, saying I think he's better than Kevin Porter, but it doesn't matter what I think. It matters what Glenn thinks. Porter lasted like 8 minutes, and Rollins has been a top 30 player since. It is very easy to sit here and go, look how good he is. This means he will continue to start. That does not mean that is what will happen. We want it to happen. We hope it happens. And even for me, someone who drafted a lot of Kevin Porter in leagues, I didn't expect he'd last 8 minutes. I prefer Rollins. I think he's a better player. I think he makes more sense on the team. Now, he's not going to shoot this well, but he was a really good shooter at Toledo. He's a good pick and roll guy, and usually he gets defensive stats. It just didn't get him here. But there is going to be an impact of Kevin Porter. I don't know whether Porter starts or whether Rollins starts. I don't know. It would be silly of Doc to not do that, but Doc was at pains to talk the other day about Porter. He's such an important part. He's a key player of what we do. So just be aware of it. I hope that he's able to find 26, 27 minutes for Rollins irrespective of starting, but this unfettered pathway won't last. Like, did you think that Ryan Rollins was going to be 21 field goal attempts with Giannis out? Like, I didn't. I didn't think there was any chance that he would do this. This is great. We also got a big Cole Anthony game, who's a good player, but is now very much pushed back. And Miles Turner also had his first good game. Is it because Giannis was out? Don't know. The efficiency had been terrible for Turner, and he got more shots. He had 17 and 7 with 3 threes and a block, but we just want him to do it now in other games. Gary Trent had his 4 steals. He hit 2 threes. He's a nice enough 175 player league stream guy. And I actually do think we really are at a drop Bobby Porter stage. Only 19 minutes. 12 and 2 with 2 threes with no Giannis. Without Giannis in the past, you get 25 and 13, a block, 4 threes. Not anymore. Kuzma's getting those minutes. See you later, Bob. It's very hard for me to look at that and go, yeah, he's a guy to start. We also got 33 minutes from big boomer AJ Green. 10 points and 3 threes, but that's what he is. He's a 3-point streamer. There's not much more going on there. But the big story here is Rollins. He's just an absolute must-roster player, guaranteed right across the board. We'll see what happens when Porter comes back, but we figure that out later. I don't believe that Doc is going to do the right thing necessarily, but you hope he will. This has been very good. But all it's going to take is for Rollins to have 10 points on 4 shots. 10 points on 11 shots with 4 makes in the next game for us to go, oh, maybe Doc does something different. It's not absolutely pasted in here that this is going to be the way they move. I don't think. We will come back and talk about the other 2 games. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. There is no better place to get in on all the NBA action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of a game, you want to get in and ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who'll score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can combine your live bets as well into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It puts your knowledge to the test, and if you are a new customer on FanDuel, you got a great offer. You get $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So, head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. I'm going to continue looking goofy for the rest of this show with these headphones on, but I think we're good. Fingers crossed. So the next game involves the Oklahoma City Thunder. They hosted the Washington Wizards, but one of the interesting things that happened was on the Wizards side of this game, because we did get the return of Bilal Coulibaly, and he was straight into the starting lineup, but not in place of Chris Middleton, not in place of Keyshawn George, not even in place of CJ McCollum. Bob Carrington went to the bench, which provides an extra little impediment here, I guess, into what old Dick Johnson III is able to do. Let's start with Bilal, who played only 24 minutes. It's an unbelievable game. It is quite possibly the best game that Bilal will have all season. 16, 8, and 4, 2 threes, 1 steal, 3 blocks. Ridiculous. 50% shooting, 100% from the line, an unbelievably good game. Is Bilal this good? Of course not. Of course he's not this good. We've seen it. He was dreadful in Eurobasket. He was terrible outside of the first 2 weeks of last season. This is a great start. If you want to grab him, go for it. I don't think it's the highest of high priorities. I think, you can absolutely do it. But this is one of those, wow, look at this game and then where does it go after this? Which I can be concerned about. But you never want to feel like you've missed. So I understand that. Keyshawn George, he suffered a little bit. 12, 7, and 6. No defensive stats. Only took 8 shots, which is a little bit of a concern. It is weird to see Bilal getting 27 usage, and that is one of the things I do not think will stick. So when we're trying to view what Bilal actually did here, I think that level of usage is not realistic for every game. Alex Sarr had some struggles, and it was the first game under 50% shooting, but 14 and 8, 2 threes, 2 blocks. You take that literally every single day of the week. As for Carlton Carrington, 3 points, 22 minutes. I'm too scared to get Jack in here just in case that makes the crackles, but maybe we'll do it. All right, John Armstrong, what do you think?
Get that garbage out of here!
Yeah, Bob Carrington, we do not need to be rostering him, but was already very much in that direction. We actually got a solid game from CJ McCollum. He only played 24, but he had 19 with 5 threes. And I also think that jacking Chris Middleton will work.
Get that garbage out of here!
20 minutes, 6 points. After a good opening night, we're getting nothing. As for Trey Johnson, a bit better, but we are seeing the limitations of him. He's a scorer with very little other peripheral stats. He was averaging a block per game, but that was never going to hold. 10, 3, and 2 with 2 threes. The trajectory had been good. At the moment, it's not good. It's on the way back down, and that's a bit of a concern. Like, if you had to make the decision, Trey Johnson or Ryan Rollins every day of the week, like without question, Trey Johnson or Bilal, a little bit more of a debate to me. I do think that Johnson is the better prospect, and I think it will be him, but I also think that obviously he's not starting, and Bilal immediately is, so that makes you lean a little bit more towards Coulibaly. And he has the issue, Johnson, that outside of scoring and threes, I don't really know what else he's bringing, and now you add another guard into the mix in Bilal, and that can create, obviously, some sort of concerns. If we go onto the Oklahoma City side of this, which we will, the Thunder were without Chet once again. And yeah, like Aaron Wiggins was great last time out, and this is some of the Wiggins issue, isn't it? 8, 4, 3, 27 from the field, 50 from the line, no threes, and 2 blocks. So if you streamed him, you got one absolute banger and one disgrace like this, right? Disgrace is harsh, I know. I do not believe that Aaron Wiggins deserves a spot on your 12-man roster, on your 150-player deep roster. He's a 200-player deep guy because there are going to be players returning like Jalen Williams, like Chet Holmgren, probably not Nikola Topic, unfortunately, with his cancer diagnosis. We hope that that's going to be okay. It seems like it will be. But it's hard to see Wiggins being that guy. What we also saw here, though, was AJ Mitchell again. 20 points, 15 shots, 2 steals, 2 threes. He definitely deserves the roster spot more than Wiggins at the moment. And then we can reassess it later, and I think he will end up a drop. We also got a better game from Cason Wallace. The Hong Kong Matchers had 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. But of course, the way he cooked was by getting 4 steals, 2 blocks, and hit 2 threes. Now, he has not been this good all the way through, very clearly. It helps you play the Wizards, and there will be a squish coming on him as well. You can roster him very clearly. It's not that dissimilar to the sort of stuff that Bilal does give you, and it has been inconsistent. We've seen it. It was also a huge first game of the year from Isaiah Joe. 20 points, 5 threes, and 6 rebounds. Now, he is wildly inconsistent. But when you look for threes, Joe, nicknamed Sam, can move into that group of guys that you know have the 5, 6 triples, maybe even 6, 7 triple upside value. Don't rush to do anything with him. Hartenstein had 17, 8, and 5, and Shea had 31, 3, and 7. Now we can go to the final game of the day. San Antonio Spurs, Miami Heat. The Spurs win at 107-101. The Heat trot out the same starting lineup, that is without Norman Powell, and we got Pelle Larsson starting. Last time was great from Larsson. 5 points. 26 minutes, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. It's very deep league stuff. It's got no long-term ability to hold or anything like that, so don't worry too much about it. And we'd also spoken a lot about Jaime Jaquez Jr., Triple H, how his shooting had just been through the roof. Now, when you play the Spurs, this can have an impact, but 6 points on 25%. He did have 8 rebounds. He did have 6 assists. So if you do have Jaquez, you just hold, but understand there was a lot that was happening that was going to fall back down. Big game from Bam, 31 and 10, and from Wiggins, 24 and 6 with 2 threes and 2 steals. And Wiggins has really stepped up with Norman Powell out. We just hope that Powell doesn't completely erase him, but that is the risk. Little Chungus played 10 minutes. Obviously you're not rostering him. If you still are in 150s or 170s, see you later.
Get that garbage out of here!
And the other one who's starting in place of him is Kelly Ware. Now, in the past, Superman has played really well against Wemby. Not so much here. Scoreless, 7 rebounds, steal and a block. Missed all 4 of his shots. It has been really, really bad from Ware this season. I would try to hold, but if I'm in shallow formats, if I'm in a 130-player league, is Spo ever going to trust it? It honestly doesn't feel like it at all. So, in that sort of a scenario, plus you're going to get Hero coming back and Powell in this lineup, I don't think it's... If you gun to my head, and please don't do that, I'm a scared boy. But if he said, is Ware going to be worth it? I'd say no. I think you'd be fine without him. But the appeal is still there. We've also seen the appeal of Davion Mitchell disappear because he's Davion Mitchell. He had 11 points and 4 assists with 3 threes. If you wanted to move on, do it. He is not Ryan Rollins. Ryan Rollins and Josh Minott, these are guys who have always looked as great permanent producers who are now getting roles. Davion was not that, ever. So, someone like that who's in a role that is probably going to shrink, even when Kasparas Yakuchonis comes back, not that he necessarily plays a lot, but Hero, Powell, these guys are going to have an impact. And I just can't see how Mitchell can maintain that. It was also the best game we've seen from Simone Fontecchio. The Meatball had 18 points with 5 threes and 2 assists. We put him in Sam's Club? Maybe. But we don't do much more than that. It hasn't been consistent, as you're well aware. You've seen him play. And you've seen the numbers that he's put up this season. And now we can look at the Spurs side of things. They went with the same starting group. Let's start with Wemby. 40 minutes. 27, 18, and 6, 1 steal, 5 blocks. Bit subpar on the field goals and free throws, but literally who cares? He continues to be ridiculous. And it was a huge game from Stephon Castle. He has killed you with turnovers and free throws this season. Now, still 71 on 7 attempts is not good, but 21, 6, and 8, 4 steals and a block is elite counting stats. Is there a better time to sell than now? Probably not, because you're going to have Fox return, Sohan eventually. and he'd been a little bit down, but this was really, really good. And that meant that it wasn't as good from Dylan Harper. 25 minutes, 13, 2 and 4. Now, Harper wasn't bad. The problem always here with Harper is that where does he get 32? Where does he get 31 minutes? And anytime that Castle has a good game and then Fox is back in the lineup, like, there's just not enough upside there. Not from a talent perspective, but from an opportunity perspective. It was a good game from Vassell, 17 and 9 with 4 threes, and Harrison Barnes was okay. Was he good enough? Was he good enough to play the song? Yeah, he was. So we're good. We don't need to worry about him. And Keldon Johnson been playing really well. Fell back off, 11 points, 23 minutes. There's not gigantic takeaways from that, I don't think. And I believe we got through that without the snap, crackle, and pop. The old rice bubbles are off somewhere else. I hope. Unless I've just missed something, looking like a dickhead with these headphones on. Let's do lines of the night now. The monstrous line of the night, it's not going to be a surprise. I'm pretty sure it is Victor Wembanyama, who had 27, 18, and 6 with 5 blocks. Your young gun of the night, first or second year player, is Stephon Castle. And he was really good, obviously. He had, I have to take the headphones off. Waiver wire first. Anthony Black, 20 points, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Your young gun is Stephon Castle, who put up a monster performance. Counting stats up the wazoo. Ryan Rollins and Bilal don't count for waiver wire. They're too highly rostered. Castle, 21, 6 and 8 with 4 steals and a block. And the dud of the night, we go back to the Washington Wizards. And Chris Middleton, it's just, you can't hold him at the moment. There's too many other options. He's not playing enough. 6 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists. It just does feel like Unk does not still got it. So, after what I found a quite challenging week of shows through technical issues that I couldn't bloody figure out, I'm on a high now. Maybe, I don't know what I'm going to do. Who knows how I'm going to celebrate this high that maybe I think I got through this show. Anyone want to come around? We'll have a bit of a party. I'll be here tomorrow, preview of Saturday's shows. I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm looking forward to hopefully not having to dick around as much on the show. Fingers crossed, still getting a new computer. Hit the thumb, hit the double bang, all that stuff. I'm just glad that I think it worked. Guys, apologies for any stupidity, weird cuts, doubles up of what I'm saying. I've done like a million takes and normally I'm just a one-take guy. I'm a one done and then I'm spent. But this time I had to go multiple rounds. So it's a bit new for me. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much, and I mean it. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.